Hello, dear family. Welcome to Echoes and Tales. Kindly hit that subscribe button and give us a like. It truly means the world to us. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and loved ones, and be sure to turn on post notifications so you never miss our upcoming stories. We truly appreciate your support. Now, sit back, relax, and let's dive into the tale. Night carried the scent of river reeds and restless thoughts. Kato entered the drum house, lamp flickering. The lion drum lay on its stand, skin taut, wood gleaming, where daily oiling kept age at bay. He knelt. "Forgive me, Father Spirit, but I must know." Raising the beater, he struck a single solemn beat. The sound rolled out across Nkuli like far thunder. Tradition said the drum answered through signs: wind stir, fire flare, animal cry. Kato waited. Nothing. Only heartbeat in his ears. He struck again, softer, questioning. Outside, Meniere crouched in shadows, counting beats. 2 beats. One truth-seeking, one doubt. Good. The spy crept nearer, silence dust muffling leaves. Inside, Kato whispered, "If Sanyu's heart is not mine, give me a sign of loss." He struck a delicate 3rd beat. At that instant, the lamp guttered out. Darkness swallowed the room. Kato's pulse leapt. From the doorway came a low bleat. The nanny goat, eyes glowing like twin moons. She stepped in, brushed his arm, then turned and trotted back into night. Kato's shoulders sagged. He felt the answer: let go. He had sought a selfish omen and received gentle rebuke. He rose, intent on apology to Kibu come dawn. But as he left, he did not see Meniere slip through a side shutter and ease the drum off its stand. The spy padded away, burden heavy yet aided by silence dust. Minutes later, the goat's alarm bleated across the compound. Raw, urgent. Sentries shouted. Kato spun, heart crashing. Drum house empty. He cried out, but hoofbeats already pounded down slope. Meniere astride a waiting mule, drum strapped behind. Torches flared. Chaos erupted. Kibu sprinted to his brother. What happened? Kato, voice cracked, confessed. "I sounded the drum and invited a thief." Sanyu joined, sling ready. Her gaze held no blame, only resolve. "We ride before dawn. The drum is the clan's spine. Without it, Nkuli cannot stand." They chose swift pursuers: Kato, Kibu, Sanyu, the nanny goat who refused to stay, and 3 mountain scouts lithe as reed cranes. They mounted wiry hill ponies, following hoof gouges and flecks of silence dust that glimmered faintly under starlight. The trail led into the Valley of Whispers, where bamboo stands creak secrets and echoes answer in voices not your own. Legend warned travelers to plug ears with beeswax, but haste left no time. At first light, they glimpsed Meniere crossing a rope bridge above a mist-choked gorge, mule laboring under drum weight. Kato spurred ahead. "Meniere, return what is sacred." Wind twisted his plea into mocking laughter. Meniere cut an outer rope. The bridge sagged, boards snapping. He reached the far side, severed another line, then vanished into cedar shadows. Kibu leapt from his pony, tied a fresh rope, and belly crawled across swaying planks to anchor it anew. One by one the group crossed, goat last, nimble as rumor. Beyond the gorge the path forked, south toward Bwanaka's estate, east to the salt cliffs. Tracks split both ways. Scouts argued. Sanyu closed her eyes, listening. Bamboo rustled a phrase, her mother's lake lullaby, carried on rising breeze from the east. "Salt wind," she murmured. "He rides to cliffs. Metal corrodes slower in salt air." They veered east. Noon blazed. Ponies heaved. Kato's guilt gnawed, spurring deeper resolve. "If my folly loses the drum, I shall not return." At dusk they reached the salt cliffs, white as bleached skulls. Far below, tide pools shimmered. On a ledge midway down, mule and thief sheltered by a rock overhang. Scouts strung climbing ropes. But Meniere, spotting them, rolled the drum toward the ledge's edge, threatening to drop it onto rocks and waves. "Back," he cried. "One more step, and your lion drinks the sea." Salt wind whipped robes. Tension cut sharper than cliff edges. In that breathless moment, Sanyu loaded her sling with a round saltstone, eyes steady, heart sure. The chase had ended at a precipice. The next beat, whether of drum or disaster, waited on her aim. Sanyu's fingers felt the sling's leather, as if it were braided from every choice she'd ever made. Behind her, Kato and Kibu braced the climbing ropes. Scouts held ponies. The nanny goat planted hooves, staring down the precipice with calm judgment. Manieri stood on the narrow ledge, drum at his heels, dagger glinting in fist. Salt spray licked the cliff like eager tongues. One crack of rock, he hissed, and Nkuli's heart shatters. Sanyu exhaled, slow, steady. She had only one memory of casting stones, on Lake Luskay, skipping pebbles to make her little brother laugh. That joy guided her arm now. She whirled the sling. Wind moaned. Time folded. The salt stone flew, whiff, striking not thief nor drum but dagger. Metal rang, spun from Manier's grasp, skittered over edge, and vanished into foaming sea. Startled, Manier staggered. The lion drum rolled toward the brink. Kato lunged, rope belayed by Kibu. He caught the rim with fingertips. Leather stretched. Sinews screamed. But hold he did. Manier cursed, kicked, only to meet the nanny goat, which had climbed halfway down on nimble hooves. She butted his knee. Thief slipped, clutched empty air, and found himself dangling by cloak on a jagged spur. Kibu scrambled down, helped his twin haul the drum up. Scouts secured it with netting. Sanyu knotted a rescue line and tossed it to the dangling man. "Take it," she called. Manier stared, shame warring with fear. At last he grasped the rope. As they hoisted him, tears, saltier than the cliff wind, streaked his cheeks. "I traded my soul for 2 coins, he gasped. Kato answered, voice hoarse. "Then earn it back with truth." Above, clouds gathered like gray elders, hiding the sun. The rescue complete, they turned toward home. Drum safe, trader bound, but storm shadows promising the reckoning yet to come. The journey back to Nkuli wound through cedar dusk. Maniere walked tethered but unshackled, for Kibu had cut his copper bangles, letting them fall like diseased scales. Night found them at Coffin Path, a ridge where legend said every footstep echoes the last words of those buried in unmarked graves below. As campfires kindled, whispers rose, snatches of regrets, promises, half-remembered lullabies. Maniere, hearing phantom voices, shivered. Kato confronted him beside the flames. "You owe us the root of this rot." The spy removed the tongue coin, spitting it into the fire where it hissed like a cursed insect. Words poured out. He spoke of Lord Wanaka's vow, to melt the lion drum into copper masks, parade Nkuli's downfall, and reclaim Sanyu as trophy wife. He spoke of silenced dust sacks, stored at Wanaka's forge, powder that steals voices for days when inhaled. Sanyu's eyes hardened. He means to break the song of the clan so no cry for help can rise. Maniere knelt. "Let me guide you through his defenses. My betrayal must pave your victory." Kato studied him, recalling the prophecy scroll. Envy might sow graves, but forgiveness could reap guardians. He nodded. "Tomorrow we march, not as prey, but as storm." During last watch, Kibu found his brother awake, polishing the drum rim. "The omen troubled you," he said gently. Kato sighed. "I feared losing you to love." Kibu smiled. "Love does not steal brothers. It multiplies family." He clasped Kato's shoulder. In that clasp, the serpent ember finally cooled to ash. Dawn cracked the sky. They buried the melted copper bangles beneath a cairn of 3 stones: memory, warning, and promise. Then, hoisting the lion drum, they headed for the valley, where Lord Wanaka's estate shimmered like poisoned honey in morning light. Lord Wanaka's mansion sprawled behind high walls plated with beaten copper, reflecting sunrise in blinding sheets. Guards in lamellar armor lounged at arrow slits. Slave bells jangled within courtyards. Above the main gate hung a banner embroidered with a serpent devouring a drum. Nkuli's force numbered few: twins, Sanyu, nanny goat, 3 scouts, Maniere, and 15 villagers stealth-picked for courage. Yet they carried a weapon Wanaka could never forge: unity. Maniere guided them to a drainage culvert beneath the outer wall. Silence dust guarded the grate, but Sanyu soaked scarves in goat milk. Its sour tang neutralized the powder. They crawled through, emerging in a garden of chained peacocks. Inside the forge, slaves worked bellows. Vats of melted copper burbled. Kato signaled. Pause. The lion drum rested on his back. He struck a single heartbeat. Sound ricocheted through bronze tools, rattling chains. Slaves paused, eyes wide. Some wept, recognizing freedom's echo. Guards charged. Scouts met them with staffs. Sanyu's sling spoke swift punctuation. Kibu vaulted atop anvil, voice ringing. Those who yearn for dawn, rise. A chorus of shackled voices answered. Slaves swung hammers not at metal, but at chains. Bells shattered. Locks cracked. In the main courtyard, Wanaka appeared in gilded armor. He brandished a spear, tipped with jagged obsidian. You return naked of sense, he roared. The girl is mine. Her voice, my jewel. Kato advanced, drum before him his shield. Wanaka thrust. Obsidian glanced off hardened ebony, shaving sparks. Then came the nanny goat, bursting from a side arch, horns lowered. She rammed Wanaka's knee, the same knee she'd bruised nights before. Armor bent, Lord toppled. From the ramparts, newly freed slaves roared. Sanyu strode forward, sling spinning. I left once a shadow. I return as storm. Her stone shattered Wanaka's serpent helm. At that moment, the lion drum thundered thrice. Kibu beating. First beat called courage. Second summoned justice. Third sealed fate. Guards dropped weapons. Copper gates swung inward, as if fearing the drum. Wanaka, bleeding pride and knee, crawled to the melted copper vat, perhaps seeking refuge, perhaps final defense. Kato and Kibu flanked him. Enough, Kato said. In the hush, Manier stepped forth with twin coins, still hot from his pockets. He dropped them into the molten metal. I sever my bond, he declared. Wanaka slumped, spirit deflated. Slaves bound him with the same chains once meant for them. Overhead, the banner of serpent-devouring drum tore loose, wind carrying it into a dawn suddenly brighter. Nkuli's band had come small, but they left the copper gates ringing with a bigger truth. When many hearts march as one drum, even gilded walls crumble like anthills in rain. After Wanaka's defeat, smoke curled from his forges, no longer fuming weapons, but truth. The vat that once hissed molten copper now cooled, its surface scabbing into strange patterns like forgotten alphabets. The elders would later say it spelled out names not yet born. The villagers, slaves turned allies and scouts, sat in a wide ring around the drum, eating boiled cassava and roasting fish caught from the estate's pond. The nanny goat was draped in a child's silk shawl found in Wanaka's treasure room. She wore it like a queen who knew she'd always been one. Kato and Kibu walked the estate in silence, past fallen spears and shattered chains. It should feel like victory, Kibu said, touching the copper walls now dented and soot-darkened. But it doesn't, Kato replied. Not yet. Back at the circle, Sanyu watched Maniere approach the drum. He didn't dare touch it. I wish to return with you, he said. Sanyu considered. Not to rule? He shook his head. To plant. And so they burned Wanaka's throne in a great pyre, not from spite, but so the ash might feed the soil. From the copper vat, they drew out hardened metal and poured it into molds shaped like ears, not weapons. Let the next generation listen, not command, said Sanyu. That night, songs filled the estate. Not war songs, but lullabies, harvest rounds, and trickster tales. A scout told the story of the nanny goat and the fallen lord. It made even the shadows chuckle. And in the sky, stars blinked like ancestors peeking between clouds, whispering, yes, this is how you hold peace. Not by gripping, but by growing. The march back to Nkuli was slow, but not from weariness. They stopped often, healing wounds, lifting songs, planting trees. At every village they passed, Kato let children touch the lion drum. Each child who struck it with honest hands added a new beat to its memory. In the hill village of Munana, a grandmother cried upon seeing Sanyu. Your mother sang me to sleep in her youth, she said, and now her daughter wakes the world. At Nkuli's gates, drums rolled out like thunder over dry earth. The elders, once skeptical, stood with palms open. You left as a child, said the oldest matron, and return as a tale. Sanyu knelt, placing her hand upon the red clay. I am not the tale. I am the telling. Meniere, head bowed, offered himself to the elders for judgment. My tongue betrayed, he said, but my hands begged to rebuild. The elders consulted. Then one stood and broke a stick of tamarind in two. Your tongue once bent like this, she said. Now, split no more. Plant this. If it grows, you stay. He planted it beside the clan hearth, watered it with his own tears. As for Kibu and Kato, they were gifted twin mantles of lion hide. Not because you fought, said the herbal chief, but because you healed. The lion drum was returned to its sacred post. But now, it was not guarded in silence. Each sunset, one child from the village was chosen to strike a single beat, passing memory from heart to drum, from drum to sky. Though peace returned, Sanyu did not rest. She gathered youths, girls and boys, loud ones and quiet ones, and formed the first circle of echoes, a traveling band that would spread stories, sing warnings, and stir hope. They wore no uniforms, only anklets of dried seeds that clicked when they danced. Their symbol was a tree with roots shaped like ears and branches like open arms. In villages where silence once ruled, they sang. In homes broken by greed, they told tales of goats who outwitted tyrants. They didn't teach with books or rules, but with laughter, rhythm, and riddles. One night, Sanyu sat by a riverside, carving small lion heads from leftover copper. Kibu joined her. You could be queen, he said. She laughed. Then who would sneak cassava from market baskets and teach riddles to grumpy elders? You're leading more than you know. I don't want to lead, she said, holding up a lion head amulet. I want to spark. He nodded, and they tied the amulet to a tree branch where wind could jangle it. Let stories hang like this, he said, light but loud. And so, the first circle walked not ahead or behind, but alongside every child who wondered if they too could strike the drum one day. Back in Nkuli, the tamarind sprouted. Manier wept again. This time, from something that sounded suspiciously like joy. The lion drum stood quiet that day, not from neglect, but because the air itself had learned to sing. That brings us to the end of the story. What lesson did you take from it? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you'll know whenever we release a new video. Also, feel free to share this with someone who might enjoy it. Thank you so much.